Welcome to Hansel Financial. It's the Olympics. Olympics have started. The Summer Olympics, Paris 2024. I absolutely love watching the Olympics. Go USA. Doesn't matter what's on, I'm gonna watch it. I just love seeing all the great athletes out there perform at their very best and seeing all the countries just compete for the gold, silver, and bronze medal. You know what I also like? If you guys give this video a like, comment, and subscribe below. So this year's Olympics, it kind of dawned on me. It's like, how do these countries and these cities actually put on these Olympics? So it was a topic that just kind of hit my head, and with the Olympics coming up here, I wanted to quick make a video with you after I did some research to see what actually all goes into hosting the Olympics. It is a major event, and actually a lot of planning goes into it. It's years ahead of time. Bids go out about 10-12 years for the cities before they even come there for the Olympics, and it's a lot of planning that goes into it. And so I wanted to look at it from a financial perspective and give you guys the insight of the finance of what it costs to host an Olympics and all what goes into planning Olympics. So stay tuned. The first one we're talking about is the planning and bidding phase of the Olympics. So every country and city, they have to put in their bid in order to accept and if they want to host the Olympics for either summer or for the winter. And so they submit the bid to the International Olympic Committee, and they take a look at the bids and they figure out which city and which country is best to host that Olympics, either for summer or for the Winter Olympics. Once the selection is made, then the host country has 7 years to get ready and prep for the Olympics coming to their country. Now, these bids that these countries put in and these cities do toward the IOC, those bids are very expensive. As an example, Tokyo, when they hosted it, they spent $75 million on their bid. I didn't realize that when I was doing the research, but yeah, $75 million just on the bid to host the Olympics, which is just mind-boggling to me. Once the city and the country gets selected, now the fun begins. Now they got to figure out how are they going to host all these sports and all these sporting events and house all these people for the Olympics. Well, that's when all the infrastructure starts to be built up for these things. From the stadiums, obviously you got to have all the stadiums, all the venues that put on these sports events, and some cities, they don't have the infrastructure as well to host people when they come to visit as guests, so sometimes they have to even build hotels. They have to build the spots to host the athletes as well that are participating in the Olympics. So a lot of construction needs to happen in those 7 years to host the Olympics. Now, with all this infrastructure as well, some cities are trying to find other uses for these big structures and buildings once the Olympics is over, because again, they're spending hundreds, if not billions of dollars constructing these buildings, and so they want to make sure that they get full use out of them, not just the buildings used in the Olympics for the sporting events. One prime example is when Beijing had the Olympics. They spent billions and billions of dollars building up these venues and these places to house people and the athletes as well, but now a lot of those places just sit in ruins. They haven't been used since the Olympics, and so that's really wasteful money. So what a lot of cities and countries are now trying to do when they host the Olympics is they're trying to find other ways to utilize those sporting events and those arenas and maybe the housing for post-Olympic stuff, so that way they're not just wasting those billions of dollars for the 2 weeks of the Olympics. That way they can use those buildings in the future for other events or for other things happening in their city or what have you. Now, we talked about building buildings and stuff for the stadiums, but you also have to think of how all these people are going to be transporting around the city to watch all the games, and so public transportation is another thing that a lot of host countries are going to have to build up, or some even have to build from start to make sure that they are bringing enough people around that it's efficient for people moving from one venue to the other, from the hotel to there, from the athletic place where all the athletes are housing. Public transportation is also a huge one that countries also have to look into and also beef up and build up to make sure they can handle all the crowd coming to watch the Olympics. As an example, London in 2012, they had to upgrade their subway system and build up new bus routes to make sure that they can get people from place to place in an efficient manner. And with beefing up as well, again, a lot of people coming there. A big thing is security. And I know in recent years, security is becoming more and more important in their budget. So another big thing they have to utilize in their budget and when they're building up is also thinking about the security aspect and making sure everything is secure with the guests to the venues and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? That costs a lot of money as well. You got to install cameras. You gotta hire people, train people, put up barricades, all kinds of stuff to keep everyone safe during the Olympics. As an example, Athens back in 2004, they spent $1.5 billion, that's $1 billion just on security to host the Olympics in Athens, Greece. So we talked about, building structures, that kind of stuff. Now there's also operational expenses as well to house the Olympics. Again, major event, probably one of the biggest in the entire world for the next 4 years until the next Olympics comes on. So operational management is also gonna be a huge expense for the host country as well. So with their operational operational planning with the events is going to be, transportation we talked earlier, but you got to figure out bus routes, timing, subway times, all that kind of stuff. Whatever public transportation the host country is going to use, they got to figure out all the scheduling for that. And with that as well, you got to figure out, your vendors, what vendors are going to be using. Are you going to be paying people at these vendors? Or a lot of Olympics, they actually, have people volunteer with the vendors as well. So you got to go through all that logistics, have, schedules and volunteer hours and this and that. So again, it's a ton of planning. That's why they give the host country 7 years to plan all this out, because again, it's a lot of planning. It's not just building up structures. You got to think smart about the organizational and the scheduling, how you're going to get all the little pieces moving around to fit together to host the Olympics. So this is another big one, technology. And now I'm sure depending on when this video popped up, it's probably just a week or two ago, the whole CrowdStrike issue with the update that was pushed out that was buggy to, I think it was 1.8 million Windows machines. So technology is going to be a huge factor in your finances when hosting the Olympics. And as you know, technology is not cheap. And in order to keep everyone safe as well, you need to put up great safeguards and all the mechanics of the Olympics, also to protect yourself from cyber attacks as well. Because again, those cyber criminals out there, they would probably love to make an attack against the Olympics. So that would just be icing on the cake for them in the hacker world. So technology is going to be a big one as well. Big expense from, installing, like I said earlier, for security, cameras, all the back end technology for that. You need to set up, again, all the tickets for all the things that's underneath the technology. I'm sure they're going to have other aspects of broadcasting as well. So again, you're going to have different countries broadcasting the Olympics as well. That all falls underneath technology. So again, the technology scope of the Olympics is very large, and it's going to be very expensive as well for the host country to put on. So one way that host countries can help offset some of their costs is by sponsorships and by marketing. And so some things the host country is going to do is going to try and get sponsorships or marketing for the different events in their country when they're hosting the Olympics. And those sponsorships could be from like companies, maybe like Nike, or I know Ralph Lauren, or whatever the case might be, from different brands. They might want to put their logos up, so that can also help offset their costs as well. Another big one I know for here in the United States is going to be broadcasting the Olympics. I believe NBC is the one. I think they spent $1.5 billion just to be able to broadcast the Olympics on their networks. That is just mind-boggling amount of money to just host 2 weeks, to broadcast 2 weeks of sports. But NBC was doing it for years, and I believe the latest numbers is $1.5 billion that they spent just to have the rights to broadcast the Olympics in the United States. And so with all that, we also need to think about the economical impact this is having on the host country as well, because again, they got to upfront this cost, these billions of dollars to host the Olympics. And normally at the start of it, you need to have a budget, just like your own personal budget, your own personal life. You need to set your budget and stick to it. These host countries also have a budget that they have in mind. Whatever the billions of dollars they have for their budget for the Olympics, they need to try and stick to it. But most of the time, for whatever reason, the host country does not stick within the budget. As an example, the 2014 Olympics, their budget was about $12 billion to host the Olympics from everything that we just talked about. Budget and what their expenses actually went up to was about $51 billion. So what is that, four times the budget? Could you imagine your own personal life if you set your budget of $2,000 a month, let's say, to live on, but you actually spent $8,000? I mean, that's just insane. 4 times the amount that they spent on their Olympics than what they actually budgeted for. So again, budgeting is key, and you really need to try to stick to your budget for your personal life, as well as I think these host countries also need to try and stick to their budget as best as possible. Also with the economic impact, they're going to obviously sell tickets for these events. So those ticket sales are also going to help out to reduce that cost of, whatever their budget is, 12, 13, 20, 30 billion dollars, whatever it is. So again, ticket sales are going to help bring that number down a little bit, because again, the host country will get those ticket sales as well. So that's another side of revenue that they can get to help pay for the Olympics. And again, with economic, what a lot of host countries see this as well is that they will be able to have long-term people come back, so long-term investment as well. So some host countries, when they're bidding or when they're thinking about hosting the Olympics, is they're thinking, hey, if we host the Olympics, it's going to get the excitement going for our country. And so over the next, maybe 10 years, we're going to have more people come and flock to our country to visit it, tourists and that kind of stuff, which is going to help boost up their economy as well. So a lot of these countries are betting and hoping that if they host the Olympics, that over the next couple of years after the Olympics, people will say, oh, that's right, Tokyo just hosted the Olympics. We should go to Tokyo and visit it because the Olympics were just there. They do see an uptick in their tourists and their numbers for those people hosting the Olympics. And so that's also a good reason why the countries want to host the Olympics, because they normally will see a boost up in their tourism as well in the next coming years, again, to help build up their economy. And finally, I want to talk about just the cultural and social impact of hosting the Olympics. as you all aware, hosting Olympics is a very amazing opportunity for the country. You know, there's not many country states that can actually host the Olympics, and so if you are able to host one, it's very, very prideful for the country. You know, all the countries from around the world get to come here, see their country, see their culture, and be able to compete. So it's a great honor to be hosting the Olympics. Again, besides all the possible expenses and possible debt the country has to go into, it is a great honor for the host country to have the Olympics. Again, Olympics have been going on forever, and so it's just a great honor. And with hosting the Olympics as well for their culture and social development, it's going to also help just their everyday urban life as well, because again, the host country wants to make the country look the best possible for all these people flocking in to watch the game, so that's going to also benefit the country. Maybe they're going to improve their roads, improve maybe their electrical grid or internet or whatever it is. So the country could also see a better increase in their urban development as well, to help boost up the country to look nicer. And so the residents of that country will be able to, you know, utilize the new things and be able to just enjoy the country more because they have newer roads or faster internet or whatever the case might be. And some other things that, you know, that these countries are now trying to do is be a little more green with their stuff. You know, again, when they're building things, try to be a little more energy efficient with their buildings. Maybe trying to incorporate some more energy efficient electricity methods maybe as well to help, you know, fund all these games and the buildings and the power that's going to be coming from the games. So some countries do take this time to try and be a little more eco-friendly, a little more green with their aspects of it as well, which again is going to help the planet as a whole. So all in all, the Olympics is a massive undertaking to actually host the Olympics. It goes into a lot of planning, a lot of money takes hosting the Olympics, but at the end of the day, it is such a great honor for the country to actually host the Olympics, and it's just a great event to put on. It kind of unifies the entire world because, again, all the, you know, stuff from politics, whatever, gets put away, and the athletes from different countries can just come compete in their sport, into their event, and really just shine. And so that's just the thing that I love about the Olympics. You know, people from all kind of countries can just compete, enjoy it, and just, you know, be kind of united in a world when sometimes politics gets in the way and this and that. So again, hosting the Olympics is a great honor, and I'm actually excited for the USA to be hosting. I believe it's next summer's Olympics. I'm excited. I think it's out in LA. So that'll be a bucket list for me to actually go to one of the Olympic Games in the United States. I think that'll be so much fun. So maybe I'll be able to do it. I don't know. If I do, I'll let you guys all know if I'll be able to make it out there. Hope you guys all enjoyed watching this video. I know I really enjoyed doing all the research on this. I mean, I did not realize how much planning and finances and really more so planning and what goes into actually trying to host the Olympics for the country. It was mind-boggling when I was doing the research on this. I mean, so much planning, so much money. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys out there also enjoyed watching it. Hope it kind of just gave you guys some more insight of the Olympics and what all goes into hosting the Olympics. So when you're watching the Olympics, you can just think back, oh, that's right, Hansel Financial said, hey, you know, this and that, and, you know, you could see and just, you know, have a little more appreciation of the Olympics and all what goes into it. Again, I hope you guys all enjoy watching the Olympics. Hope you're rooting for your country. I know I'm going to be rooting for you, Team USA, during the next 2 weeks. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I have tons of other great financial videos on my channel. I'm going to have one pop up right here. Yep, there's one right there, so you guys can go and watch that one. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that, I hope you guys all have a good one out there. So I wanted to, no, let's just trash that. Winter or sports, winter or summer. Now this aspect of hope